So, for the past year, my husband has been sitting at home, unemployed, working on his novel, while I have been supporting both of us and working overtime. We have been together for 4 years and we got married 2 years ago. We were in college together. That's how we met. And he had always been big on reading. And I knew that he wanted to be a writer, but his parents did not think that it was a stable job. And so they did not support him in his dream of pursuing literature as a major. So he ended up with me in the eco department. Anyway, we graduated and we lost touch for about a few years. And then we reconnected at somebody else's party, and that's how we got together at 26. By then, I had had enough flings and relationships with men who were not looking for anything serious. So I wanted to settle down, and I knew that he was on the same page. So within a year, we were living together, and then he proposed and we got married. Everything was hunky dory except for one part, the fact that he hated his job, and I hate it. And I don't just mean that he would complain about it. He literally loathed working in the company that he did. And he said it was a soul-sucking job. So about a year ago, he just came home one day and told me that he quit because he couldn't take it anymore. I was obviously upset with him because by then I had started to think about planning for a baby. But if he had just quit his job, then we would have to put it off. My family has a history of complicated pregnancies, including my own mother. So I did not want to risk waiting until after 35, and I'm already 30. We had even spoken about it, but he told me that it wouldn't hurt to wait for just a few years, and by then, if he had not been able to finish writing and publish his book successfully, then he would go back to his job and I would have nothing to worry about. He also promised me that while I was working, he would do everything at home, so I wouldn't have to worry about any of that either. I was mad, but then he tried to make it up to me, so I accepted all these terms, and since then, I've been working to support both of us, and it's been pretty hard. And the biggest reason it's been hard is because he has not stayed true to his word at all, because he hasn't been helping around the house. And all he does all day is just stay cooped up in his office, and he claims that he's writing. But until today, even though it's been a year, he has never been able to show me even a rough draft of what he's working on. He says it's personal and he will show me the final product. But I personally think that he's just been wasting his own time and mine, along with my money. So I was already upset about that, and we ended up fighting a lot over all of this because I would accuse him of not helping around the house, and he would tell me I was being insensitive because he was trying to work on something. And he needed his creative space, and he couldn't just keep worrying about housekeeping and chores if he wanted to write a good book that would get published. Obviously, things have not been easy between us for the past couple of months, but I've been trying, at least. I can't say the same for him because I could see that he has been losing interest in our marriage, slowly but steadily. And for the past couple of weeks, we have hardly been talking to each other because I think that we are inevitably going to end up fighting, since that's what always happens. To be honest, I just couldn't take it anymore, and that's why I decided to go snooping in his office a couple of days back, and that's how I found out about his affair. He had been out with his friends, and I decided to use that opportunity to find out what exactly he had been working on. Took me a while to guess his password, but after 4 years with him, it wasn't that hard. So anyway, once I was in, I planned on checking all his documents so I would be able to find a draft of some sort. But I couldn't find anything like that. I even decided to check his mail, and that's when I found confirmation for flight tickets to Bali in a couple of weeks. It was for 2 people, and somebody else had paid for it. And that somebody happened to be one of my husband's ex-co-workers. This woman let's call her Natalie, had been to my house in the past. She had attended parties in our home. She had been friendly to me, and I had never suspected anything like this. But there it was, right in front of me. She was the one who had forwarded that mail to him and said that she couldn't wait for this trip. So it was pretty obvious what their intentions were. I took a picture of that and then I opened Instagram on his laptop and I started scrolling through his chat with Natalie. And sure enough, they were having a full blown affair. From the chat, I could deduce that this had started a couple of weeks after he told me that he had quit his job. Basically, she had reached out to him to tell him that everybody at work really missed him, and he ended up confiding in her about how he had hated his job and now he was going to be a writer, and he had told her that he was upset that I was not being fully supportive of him and that he seemed to be annoyed at what he had done. And from that point, she started sympathizing with him. And within a few weeks, they were flirting with each other. And I'm guessing later they started hooking up and made things official because he had even told her that he was going to leave me for her as soon as he was a published author. And he was just holding on because he couldn't afford to do anything risky right now. So, yeah, I read all of that, and it was really hard for me to keep my cool. But I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I took pictures of all of that, and then I did what I had to do. And that has ticked everybody in his family off. After I took pictures of all of this for proof, I decided to take his collection of luxury watches and sell them. I didn't do it online because that would take a lot of time. I decided to drive down to a pawn shop and do the needful that day itself. He usually keeps it under lock and key in his office, and it's a great collection. And I know he's very fond of them because a lot of them were gifts, including some from me. He takes great care of them, so they were in mint condition, and I got a great price for them as well. Before I left, I had also packed my stuff so I could leave once and for all and wouldn't have to come back. So after selling that whole connection, I got the money transferred to my bank account and blocked him everywhere before moving in with my parents. Obviously, when he came back and he couldn't find me or the collection of his watches, he lost it. I did leave a note for him in his office telling him I knew everything and that I had sold the watches as compensation because, after all, there was no way I was going to walk out without taking anything away from him, since he had taken away 4 years of my life from me in one fell swoop. Besides, I had been supporting him, so it really was compensation for me, and I didn't need to wait for any court of law to tell me otherwise. It was something I had done in anger, but the funny thing is, I don't regret it at all. He, his parents and sister, all of them have been hounding me and my parents online, telling me that what I've done is wrong and that I need to get the watches back, or at least pay him back because what I did was really wrong and I could have sorted it out in a different way, or at least just filed for divorce without doing all of this. I have blocked them. So they've been using fake email addresses and social media accounts to do all of this, but I don't really feel sorry for him at all. They are claiming that the collection of watches held huge emotional value for him, not just financial, and I can't do this to him, and they are going to sue me, but I'm not scared. AITA for selling my soon-to-be ex-husband's collection of luxury watches and keeping the money because he was cheating on me. Update 1. Hey, thank you so much to everybody who commented on my post and told me that I was doing the right thing. I needed to hear that. Now, I have even less to feel sorry for than I did previously. Earlier, at least I was questioning myself because they were acting like I had done something very wrong, but now that I have gone through the comments, I have spoken to my parents and my friends, I don't feel like I have anything to feel sorry about at all. To be honest, it's not just about the money. It's also about the fact that I had agreed to put my plans of having a baby on hold, all because I wanted to make him happy. And he couldn't even think about that. He couldn't even think about that before going ahead and having an affair with some other woman and promising him that he would leave me for her, when he knew for a fact that I had been doing everything in my power to make sure that he was happy and that our marriage worked out. It just sucks. But well, it just speaks about his character more than it does about mine. At least I can tell myself that until the very end, I was trying, and I have nothing to be sorry about. As for those who are asking, yes, I have already filed for divorce, and my parents are helping me hire one of the best divorce attorneys in town. It's going to be a bit expensive, so I need help, but I'm not walking away without making sure that he's punished for what he did. So yeah, I'm going to make sure that he isn't able to manipulate the situation and get alimony out of me because he doesn't deserve it. I mean, the fact that he has cheated, and I have proof of it already, makes it very likely that he's not going to get any money. But still, I don't want to take any risks. Also, the fact that I sold his collection of watches, I mean, I don't want to risk anything in that regard as well. So yeah, wish me luck. I think I'm going to need it. Update 2. Hey everybody, thank you so much for all the support in the comments section. It really means the world to me, especially when I'm going through something so difficult. We are going ahead with the divorce proceedings now, and emotionally, I don't know what to say about myself because I just feel numb most of the time. But thankfully, I have my parents by my side and I have good friends who have always been there for me. So that makes it slightly easier for me. And I'm also trying my best to heal by reminding myself of every awful thing that he has done in the past year and how he has let me down in every way possible so that I don't end up missing him too much. Because it's impossible not to miss somebody, even if they have done you dirty. But I'm trying to grow out of it. I'm trying my best to make sure that I focus on myself and my well-being. And yeah, I hope it goes well. Of course, the divorce itself is going pretty well for me. Not so much for him. I don't think that it's going to work for him to take it to family court. So we are probably going to terminate the mediation sessions on my terms, and eventually the divorce will be finalized on my terms, thanks to my brilliant lawyer. Also, thanks to the fact that I was never the villain. So yeah, whatever. Update 3. Hi everybody. So it's been a couple of months since my previous update, and I just want to inform you guys I'm happily divorced now. I'm done with him, and thankfully everything was finalized on my terms. Now it's only onwards and upwards. Again, thank you so much to everybody who stayed in the loop and supported me. Update 4. Hi, so it's been 2 years since my divorce, and I have good news. I'm going to be a mother. I'm not married. I haven't met anyone yet, but I'm still going to be a mother because I chose to adopt. I had been thinking about it. It's been in the works for quite a while, and now it's finally going to happen. I've already been picked, and in a few months I'm going to be a mom. I'm doing pretty well for myself now. I'm going to be doing even better, so I'm really grateful to the universe for whatever has happened. As for my ex-husband, I don't know what he's up to, and I don't care either. The only thing that matters is that I'm thriving, and that's all I could have asked for. Now, I just hope for a healthy, happy baby. Story 2. I, 28 female, am currently 3 months pregnant with my first baby. My husband, 31 male, and I have been married for almost 3 years, and we were over the moon when we found out we were expecting. Unfortunately, that happiness was clouded by one person, my mother-in-law. From day one, she has never liked me. I don't even know why. She acts polite when people are watching, but behind closed doors, she's critical, controlling, and manipulative. After we got married, she made it her life's mission to insert herself into everything we did. It got 10 times worse after we announced the pregnancy. She acted like it was her baby, not mine. She constantly gave unwanted advice, criticized my choices, and made comments about how I was not raising her grandchild the right way. She even tried to convince my husband to let her move in with us. Thankfully, he was completely on my side and said no. Now for what actually happened. One afternoon, my husband was working late and I was home alone. I was in the kitchen when the doorbell rang. It was my mother-in-law. I didn't want to let her in, but I also did not want to deal with her making a scene or crying to the family, so I let her in, thinking I'd just keep things short. She was weirdly quiet at first, and then started asking personal questions like whether my husband and I were strong enough to be parents or if we were even ready for this kind of responsibility. I told her I was tired and heading upstairs to lie down. She said she'd leave soon, so I turned to go up the stairs. Then it happened. As I was halfway up, I felt a hard shove on my back. I fell. I don't remember much of the fall. I just remember the feeling of panic and pain. When I hit the bottom, I couldn't even cry. I just laid there in shock, terrified for the baby. Mother-in-law came running down, pretending to be horrified, saying she tripped and bumped into me. She called my husband and said there was an accident and that I had fallen. He rushed home and took me to the ER. Luckily, the baby was safe. I had some bruises, a sprained wrist, and back pain, but nothing life-threatening. Emotionally, though, I was a wreck. My husband and I had installed security cameras a few weeks earlier after finding out I was pregnant, just to keep an eye on the house for safety. Mother-in-law did not know about them, and the second we got home from the hospital, we checked the footage. It made me sick to my stomach. You could clearly see mother-in-law following me up the stairs, pausing for a second and then deliberately pushing me forward. She did not trip. She did not stumble. She attacked me. We didn't waste time. My husband gathered the footage and we called the cops. He also called his family and asked everyone to come over the next day, saying it was important. When everyone arrived, mother-in-law included, we sat them down and played the footage. There was total silence in the room. One aunt actually gasped out loud. Mother-in-law tried to claim the video was fake. She said we were trying to frame her and that it was all edited. No one believed her. Her own brother asked her why she would do something like that. We told everyone we had reported her to the police and handed over the footage. She started crying and begging, trying to play the victim, saying it was just a bad moment and she didn't mean it. But it was too late. We filed a police report that same day. Mother-in-law was taken in for questioning. We handed over the footage and my hospital records. The officer we spoke to said it could fall under attempted assault, causing bodily harm and possibly even endangerment of an unborn child. Since then, things have exploded in the family. Some of mother-in-law's relatives have gone no contact with her. Others are still in shock. A few, mostly her enablers, say we went too far by getting the police involved. But most people agree that what she did was disgusting and dangerous. I've had to take a few weeks off work because I just can't mentally focus right now. I keep replaying the fall in my head and it makes me feel so scared to think how easily it could have ended differently. If I had landed wrong, if something had happened to the baby, I don't even want to think about it. Mother-in-law hasn't stopped trying to contact us. She's left voicemails, texts, even tried to show up outside our house crying and begging. We did not let her in. She's been officially warned to stay away. At this point, I don't care what happens to her. She tried to hurt my child. That's how I see it. Whether she was jealous, controlling, angry, I don't care. She physically assaulted me and risked the life of an innocent baby. There's no coming back from that. I know some people in the family think we should have kept things private or handled it in-house. But to me, this was not a family matter. It was a criminal act. I still want to ask, AITA for showing the footage to the family and calling the cops on my mother-in-law instead of just cutting her off quietly. Update 1. Hi, I'm back with an update. A few things have happened. First, mother-in-law was charged. The police took this seriously. With the video evidence and my medical report from the hospital, they charged her with assault and endangering the welfare of an unborn child. Her lawyer tried to claim it was an accident, but when they saw the footage, well, there was no argument to be made. We also got an emergency restraining order against her. She can't come near me, my husband, or our house. Now here's where it gets even messier. Some of the family members who initially supported her have done a complete 180 since the charges were filed. It's like once it became official, like, oh no, this is really criminal now, they realized how serious this was. Her own sister called my husband crying, saying she couldn't believe her sister would stoop so low and that they were ashamed to be related to her. But mother-in-law still has a few allies. One cousin, and her mother in particular, are now running around telling anyone who will listen that I ruined mother-in-law's life and I'm tearing the family apart. They've been talking to people, hinting that I'm a gold digger who's trying to destroy a good woman for money and attention. And then the most shocking thing happened. A few days ago, an anonymous Instagram account started posting about me. The posts were clearly written by someone in the family. They knew way too many personal details. They posted a picture of our house. Old one before we moved in, but still creepy. A photo of me when I was younger and a post implying that I had forced my husband into this marriage and was now trying to separate a mother from her son. It was terrifying. We reported the account immediately. My husband also confronted the cousin he suspected was behind it. She denied it. But the account stopped posting right after that. We've now locked down all our social media, warning our neighbors, and set up extra security cameras. I've also been told through the grapevine that mother-in-law is trying to file for grandparents' rights. I didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently she thinks if she gets ahead of this legally, she can force us to let her see the baby after it's born. Obviously, we're fighting that. Our lawyer says she doesn't have a leg to stand on, especially after being charged with assaulting the baby's mother. But still, it's stressful to think she's this obsessed. Emotionally, I'm doing better some days than others. The fall shook me up more than I realized. I'm getting help. My husband insisted we talk to a therapist who works with trauma and pregnancy. It's helping slowly. I'm trying so hard to stay calm for the baby, but some nights I just cry thinking about what could have happened. The bright side? My husband has been my rock. He's made it crystal clear to everyone. His mom is out of our lives for good. He told me over and over, the baby and I are his priority now. No more rug sweeping, no more trying to keep the peace. The baby is still healthy, thank goodness. I'm in my second trimester now, and every kick reminds me why we are doing this, why we stood up to mother-in-law, why we're fighting to protect this little life. I know there's still more drama ahead. The court stuff isn't over yet. And who knows what else mother-in-law will try to pull. But for now, for today, we are safe. The truth is out. And we are stronger than ever. And honestly, after everything she's done, I do not feel one bit guilty. Update 2. About a week after we shut down that anonymous Instagram account, I got an official-looking letter delivered to our door. It was not from mother-in-law. It was from a private investigator. Mother-in-law actually hired someone to dig up dirt on me. No, I'm not kidding. The investigator said they were just doing their job, but wanted to let me know that mother-in-law had asked them to look into my past relationships, mental health history, and possible drug use. He said after reviewing everything, He refused to work with her further and advised me to be careful because she seemed unstable. I was furious and scared. I've never done anything close to what she's looking for, but the fact that she's so desperate she's literally paying strangers to harass me? That's next level crazy. Our lawyer advised us to document everything, so now we're keeping track of every call, every message, every weird attempt she makes to get to us. I honestly do not know what her end game is. She can't undo the charges. She can't force us to let her near the baby, but somehow she's convinced herself that if she smears me enough, my husband will take her side. Completely delusional. Then, yesterday, it got even more bizarre. My husband's uncle called us, someone we've barely spoken to, and asked if he could come over. We said sure. He showed up looking really uncomfortable and said mother-in-law had tried to bribe him to talk to my husband. She promised him $10,000 if he could convince her son to drop everything and let the family fix this privately. The uncle said he refused and warned us because he was worried she's losing her grip on reality. He said she's drinking heavily, ranting to anyone who listened that I've ruined her life and stolen her son. The scary part? The court hearing is coming up soon. Our lawyer says there's a real chance she'll try to pull some kind of stunt in court, like claiming she's the real victim. We are preparing everything, but honestly, it's exhausting. And the cherry on top? One of mother-in-law's few remaining allies actually showed up at my OB appointment. She just happened to be there. But she kept staring at me and then loudly talked on her phone about bad mothers and manipulative girls ruining families. That's when I truly lost it. I told the office what was going on. They flagged my file, added extra security notes, and told me from now on, if anyone suspicious shows up, they won't let them near me. It's like mother-in-law is trying to poison every safe space I have. But guess what? She's failing. I'm getting stronger every day. The baby is healthy. My husband is even more protective than ever. And now that some of her own family members are turning on her, she's more isolated than she's ever been. But I'm still nervous. People this obsessed do not just stop. So for now, we are watching our backs, strengthening our legal case, and keeping everything documented. I never wanted this drama. I just wanted a peaceful pregnancy, but mother-in-law made her choice, and now she'll have to live with it. If anything else happens, I'll keep you posted. Update 3. The court date finally arrived. My husband and I had been preparing for weeks. Security footage, medical reports, statements from family members, documentation of every harassing message mother-in-law sent, and even a written note from the private investigator she hired to stalk me. We walked into the courtroom ready for anything. What we were not ready for was her not showing up. Instead, her lawyer came alone, looking tired and embarrassed. He handed over a letter mother-in-law had written to the court. In it, she claimed she was mentally unwell, going through an emotional breakdown, and begged for leniency. She wrote pages of excuses, never once directly apologizing to me. It was all about how she had suffered, how she was being cut off from her grandchild, and how we had twisted everything. The judge was not impressed. She was charged with felony assault and child endangerment. A restraining order was granted for both me and the baby, valid for the next 5 years, with the possibility of extension. She's also required to undergo psychiatric evaluation and is not allowed to contact us directly or indirectly under any circumstances. It's over. There's an eerie quiet now. No more anonymous messages, no more allies, no more doorbell cameras picking up suspicious visitors, just peace. My husband broke down crying when we got home, not from sadness, relief. He finally let go of the guilt he'd been carrying for months, blaming himself for not seeing his mother's true nature sooner. I told him none of this was his fault. People like his mom are master manipulators. She fooled everyone. We are now focusing on the baby, preparing the nursery, attending prenatal classes, finally allowing ourselves to be excited. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. To be honest, I don't hate her. I don't wish her harm, but I'll never forgive her. She made a choice that could have ended the life of her grandchild, and I will never let her anywhere near us again. Some people in the family still think we're being too harsh, that she's still his mother, but to us, that relationship died the moment she pushed me down those stairs. Now, we look forward as a family of three, safe, whole, and finally free. I hope no one else ever has to live through what we did. And no, she'll never meet this baby, not even once. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.